tomorrow, so you see what's on the tube. Devin's having channel 57. What's on channel 22? The CBS Fox affiliate. News will start for another half hour. Some kind of sporting event. The soccer league's on. And crap it, no one watches on Fox.
It's vegetable freezing.
Oh. Judy Justice. She's off the air. I thought she got out there. I thought she's on Roku now. Why is she on two channels? I don't understand why she's on two channels. She's on Fox and ABC. You used to watch all the time, didn't you? You know, younger used to watch her. Yeah, I used to watch her all the time. Because there's nothing else on TV at the time. That's why I used to watch her. What are you going to do? Okay. Okay. GTA. Okay, that's a good episode. Okay, I mean, we're just killing time. Tyler, what about the one thing? We might finish it later. Are you thinking about doing some more? Yes, it needs to Glen Oak. Maybe we might. Whisk and Glen, never seen it. iRod Racing. The UIX XCat Racing, never heard of it. Food Wars, I heard of it. Okay, seen that one already.
Catherine Ross. She and Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid fame, undergraduate, were to come here and choose their favourite car.
Cops. Price is Right, Ice for Truckers. Wild Justice. Genie. Mythbusters.
Working together, we'd stop the overtaking massacre. Get alongside me, quick as you can. Now let's see him overtake. Brilliant! Why didn't we think of this before?
I don't know what I'm watching. That's not good. I'm going to go back to YouTube. Yeah, I wish we had some things in 3 hours, but we don't have them. We don't have 3 hours. Well, there's quite a few things in 3 hours we do not have that I wish we did have. Hey, Tyler. Ooh, same ending. I never watched their show, so how will we know?
When Grand Theft Auto 5 launched in 2013, it made $1 billion in 3 days. And it didn't stop there. Over the next decade, more than 200 million people stepped into Los Santos.
I'm going to watch this real quick, then I'm going to watch something else.
Name's going micro.
So how's everyone doing this lovely day? Today was a little different from your schedule, but yeah, we got plans tomorrow.
Swedish nuclear power plant
I'm not going to give up on it.
tested for radioactive contamination today. They mistakenly believe the source of radiation may be at their own plant. Hours later, the Soviets admit it's a radioactive cloud from a serious nuclear power plant accident in the Soviet Ukraine. Good evening. This is PBS Evening News. Dan Rattle reporting. Every indication is that it was a serious nuclear accident. The tightly controlled Soviet government press calls it a nuclear power plant reactor accident north of Kiev. The Soviets only hinted at possible casualties. They said a reactor had been damaged. The site of the
Heck
accident
better than get kiss to my face and I'll lean up every 5 seconds.
in the Soviet breadbasket of the Ukraine. Our coverage of the nuclear cloud begins with Wyatt Andrews in Moscow.
The announcement was terse, unemotional, and came 25 minutes into the hour-long Soviet nightly news. An accident at the Chernobyl atomic power plant, the newsreader said. One atomic reactor has been damaged, and then ominously the statement continued, aid is being given to those affected. Chernobyl is a string of 4 nuclear reactors some 80 miles north of the Ukrainian capital of Kiev, an urbanized region believed populated by 2.5 million people. Pictures inside any Soviet nuclear power plant are rare. So for TASS to announce that a Soviet nuclear plant has suffered an accident and that people there need aid indicates this accident is serious and still leaves open the question of the extent of damage, a guessing game of whether residents have simply been evacuated or if there has been wide-scale loss of life. In the Soviet announcement, there were no health warnings issued, no mention that radiation may have escaped. In fact, TASS gave 4 sentences announcing the accident and then 2 pages of how the United States has had nuclear mishaps too. Still, for the Soviet people, any announcement of a tragedy is significant simply because such announcements are not automatic. And diplomatic speculation tonight is that one of 2 things is true, that the announcement represents a move toward more public openness, or that the accident was just too big to ignore. Wyatt Andrews, CBS News, Moscow.
Several hours before the Soviets admitted the accident, increased radiation was first detected at this nuclear power plant north of Stockholm. 600 workers were evacuated after one of them set off an alarm while passing through a routine radiation check. Officials thought there was a leak here, but an investigation revealed the plant was clean. Soon, there were reports of higher than usual radiation levels throughout Scandinavia. Winds blowing in a northwesterly direction apparently carried the radioactive pollution nearly 1,000 miles from the Ukraine. That, say experts, indicates the accident was extremely serious.
It indicates that it is quite a big accident, quite a big escape of radioactivity, and big enough for the Soviets to be concerned, and concerned enough to have to admit to something that did really happen.
The Chernobyl water graphite facility is similar in design to many nuclear power plants in the Soviet Union. It is also a big supplier of electricity to parts of East.
And in the current 5-year plan from 1986 to 1990, it's planned that it should expand to 6,000 megawatts, which would make it one of the world's biggest.
The highest levels of radiation were detected in Finland, where readings up to 10 times more than normal were reported. But officials throughout Scandinavia stressed there was no danger. There is, however, some damaging political fallout. Sweden tonight expressed bitter concern that Moscow failed to promptly inform its neighbors of an accident that apparently occurred over the weekend. Bill Redeker, CBS News, London.
The Soviets claim this is the first major nuclear accident in their country. Actually, it appears to be the first one they've reported. By many accounts, there was a major accident in 1957 at a remote nuclear fuel processing plant in the Ural Mountains. Unconfirmed reports say there were dead or injured in the thousands during that Soviet accident. Today's TASS report noted that there have been nuclear power plant accidents in the West, most notably the March 1979 accident that damaged the nuclear reactor at Pennsylvania's 3 Mile Island nuclear power plant. TMI and U.S. reactors in general are in special lead-lined containment buildings designed to prevent radiation leaks. But Stanley Arbach of the U.S. government's Oak Ridge Laboratories and an expert on the Soviet nuclear program told me today that that sort of safety measure is not routine in the Soviet Union.
Well, you got to remember, these are unshielded reactors. The Russians are unique in this respect, quite different than our reactor.
Yep, okay, I've seen this already. Yeah.
What if that beach view they promised just got 100 times better?
Let's relax and have some fun.
You know what fuels a real epic summer? Kodiak Flapjack.
Relax.
Protein-packed, crafted with
Do I always do? Nothing, really.
Everyone looks at Jax and sees the villain of the group, the guy who trips people for fun, sabotages escape plans, and laughs while everyone else is suffering. And yeah, on the surface, that reads perfectly. But
Just trying to kill some time.
Nobody's talking about. Jax isn't the one in the digital circus who has it easy. He might actually be the one who has it hardest. And by the time this video is over, I think you're going to feel genuinely bad for a character you probably can't stand right now. Let's get into it. The single most revealing moment the show has given us about Jax comes from his nightmare sequence, specifically what he's most afraid of. And what we see isn't losing someone, or dying, or even abstracting.
Way to interrupt my nap.
His deepest fear is being laughed at, being exposed, standing in front of a crowd, real people, Rivet,
Being
Calhoun,
killed.
Omni, and having every single one of them mock him. That tells you everything. Because Jax has built his entire personality around never letting that happen. Every insult he throws, every prank he pulls, every moment he acts like nothing can touch him, it's all armor. He decided a long time ago that if he's the one making fun of everyone else, then nobody gets the chance to make fun of him. And it worked. Probably worked really well in the real world. The problem is that armor doesn't come off easily, and the digital circus has a way of slowly chipping it apart piece by piece. For a while, the fandom kind of agreed that Zubul had the roughest internal experience of anyone in the circus.
Do not even begin to say that sentence like you didn't try to keep us all trapped here forever.
Anything gonna happen when you press those buttons. It doesn't matter.
The whole thing with their body, the disconnection, the fact that they genuinely don't want to be there and make zero effort to hide it, and that's real. But here's my argument. Jax has it worse, and I don't think it's particularly close. Zubul knows exactly what their problem is. They're not pretending everything is fine, but Jax has spent so long suppressing his actual self that he probably doesn't even fully understand why he reacts to things the way he does. He's performing a character, and the character has taken over. Now here's where things get really interesting, and this is the part of the video I want you to pay close attention to. In episode 7, when Abel shows up with what looks like a legit path out of the digital circus, every single character, Pomni, Regatha, Gangle, Kinger, Zubul, they all light up immediately. Nobody's asking questions. Nobody's skeptical. They want out. Jax is the only one who pumps the brakes. He keeps raising doubts.
Okay, you know what's gonna happen when we do all this? Kane's gonna pop out and say, congratulations on beating the Escape the Circus adventure, and everything's gonna go back to the way it always was.
How do they know Abel is who he says he is? What if Kane just pops out at the end and it was all another adventure?
How do we even know we can trust this guy? Has he done anything to prove he's human?
He stalls, he pushes back, he refuses to fully commit to the plan. And the easy read is that Jax is just being contrarian and difficult because that's what Jax does. But watch him more carefully in those scenes, because this isn't Jax trying to be funny. He's genuinely uncomfortable. There's that brief exchange where someone asks if he has anyone waiting for him back in the real world, and he goes quiet before saying, yeah. But the way he says it doesn't sound like he's thinking about a family reunion. It sounds like he's thinking about something he'd rather forget entirely. So, what exactly is waiting for Jax outside? The show seeds this carefully. In episode 7, during Jax's breakdown sequences, there are flashes of a real neighborhood. Suburban, quiet, somewhere that looks like it could be Missouri. Mixed in with those are images of a road, speed limit signs, and what feels like the aftermath.
Missouri, heck, it looks like a part of Michigan to me. It looks like a part down where I used to live in. It's better to relax. Don't worry about anything. Like Jax sometimes doesn't worry about anything, and then okay, no, okay. No. It was Monday and yesterday. No warnings today at all. Just relaxing today and relaxing. That's all I'm doing for a little bit until like 4 o'clock. Then something else is going to happen at 4 o'clock. Got to do that. Then finish something I was working on.
Of an accident. The theory that's gained.
I'm just killing time right now.
And honestly, the one that
I'm just killing some time right now.
caused a fatal car accident in the real world, and he's been carrying that ever since. It would explain why in episode 4 he hesitated for an unusually long time before getting into a car. It explains why in episode 2, when someone needed to drive a truck, Jax quietly redirected that responsibility onto Gangle instead. Small moments, easy to miss, but they add up. If that theory is right, then the answer to who's waiting for Jax outside isn't a warm family like its investigators. It's the victim's relatives, and it's a reality he cannot cope with. The digital circus isn't a prison to Jax the way it is for everyone else.
You think I'm capable of abstracting? You guys worry too much.
It's an escape from something much worse. This reframes the red button moment completely. When Jax pressed it and destroyed what might have been everyone's shot at getting out, the immediate reaction was, of course he did. He's Jax. But look at where he was mentally in that moment. He'd been fighting his own panic the entire episode. He watched everyone around him getting ready to walk back into a world he has every reason to be terrified of. And when it came down to it, he couldn't let it happen. That wasn't cruelty. That was fear. Raw, uncontrollable fear that completely overrode his ability to think about what anyone else doesn't make it okay. The other characters had every right to be furious, but it shifts what that moment means.
What did you just do?
It's not the act of someone who doesn't care. It's someone who's completely falling, lashing out in the only direction they know how. What makes it worse is that
for a little
Jax
bit.
had actually been trying to talk everyone out of the plan from the beginning, only planting doubt.
Tomorrow, maybe. I'm not sure yet. Doesn't really matter, does it? It just matters whatever I feel like doing. That's what I say. Whatever I feel like doing. I'm starting to do something different now these days. Okay. That test worked out perfectly. I might go into town tomorrow maybe for a quick bit, but that's about it. Or something like that. Maybe, I'm not sure. Not sure what I'm going to do yet. Haven't thought about what I'm going to do yet. Coffee television. Coffee TV.
Need help.
But he was injured. Secondly,
Need help.
but he was injured. Secondly, they were able to confine the fire.
KGO and Coffee Television.
Thank you, Marty. Now back out to the marina where we understand that fire is now even more visible. If you take a look at the pictures you see, they are provided by ABC Network. Laura Marquez, are you still in communication with us? Obviously, Laura cannot.
Maybe.
As she mentioned a little bit earlier, and as Chip and Dave told us just
Next week? We open it next week.
This part of the city is built on fill.
I don't know if I'm going to be able to work though next year because they haven't called me yet. I'm not working on it for working this year because they never called me yet.
More fragile than they would be.
I'll see what's happening next week when I go down there.
That kind of damage is the kind of damage report that's coming in from all over the Bay Area. Right now, we want to look south. We know this earthquake
From the Goodyear
was
blimp.
perhaps as far south as Hollister. The initial reports.
Wow, that's the first time I ever noticed that. Wow.
Reports say it is epicentered 10 miles north of Santa Cruz on the San Andreas Fault. It was felt all the way down to the San Fernando Valley in the Los Angeles area and as far north as Sacramento. Channel 7's Tony Russomanno responded immediately when the quake hit. That was just at about 5 minutes after 5 o'clock. And he went through the South Bay to give us an idea of the damage there.
All right, I'm on a phone now. I don't know if you can hear me. I'm on a cell phone.
A cell phone in 1989, south of San Joseph.
Right at the scene at the Valley.
He's in South San Joseph.
And fire department police units are still running with their red lights and blue lights throughout this area. Virtually every South Bay police department.
This is weird though. He's on a cell phone in the 80s. Cell phones were big, thick suitcases back in the 80s. Technically, it's a phone card to tell you what's in your cell phone you have in your car or a news van. They're very expensive back in the 80s. $2,000 to $3,000 in the 80s to get it installed in your car. Then they're a few $1,000s just to use it.
Effectively closing the highway at Highway 280. We're hearing now that the epicenter may have been 10 miles north of Santa Cruz on the San Andreas Fault. That would put it at Holy City. That's the area. That's the epicenter area from the last
Holy City.
we had a short while ago.
Tony Roseman, South San Joseph, live by cell phone.
Damage over there, glass shattered, walls cracked, that sort of thing. I have not heard anything from
he's not using a landline, which landlines would people use until at least 2005, until 2015. But I got my cell phone in 2015. No, I got my cell phone. No, I got my cell phone I got my cell phone when I was 15 or 16. So around 2010, 2012. No, around 2012.
That is not a fire. That's the emergency generator at Pacific Bell running the emergency phone system right now. There's a lot more to report. Are you still with me?
Sure I am, Tony. Just to follow up on what you said a little bit earlier, we have a report that the Santa Clara Valley Medical Center had to move patients from one wing to another because of general damage at the hospital itself. Also, in Hollister, we heard that there was minor damage in the Hazel Hawkins Hospital in Hollister. In Watsonville Community Hospital, they may be evacuating all the patients to Community Hospital in Monterey, which has mobilized its regional disaster plan. So that follows to what you were saying about Valley a little bit earlier.
Recorded earlier today.
The fire units and the ambulances were sending the people to the hospital as they were picking them up, but they had no reports at the scene what was happening in the hospital once the patients got there. We should say also that Highway 9 has rock slides, and I don't know officially if it's been closed or not. But again, there's such a
Bay Bridge is closed.
Are effectively blocked in the South Bay tonight.
Thanks. That's Tony Rusomano reporting live from the South Bay. Right now, we should take a look at the transportation picture overall. Right now, I have the latest from BART. All service for the Bay Area Rapid Transit District is off. There are no trains stuck under the bay. There are no reports of derailments or injuries, which is certainly good news.
That's good.
Again, BART is not running any trains, and the system has lost all of its power in San Francisco. Officials are not sure when BART service is going to resume. We also they say, are still inspecting the system for structural damage. Right now, we want to go back out into the field where Leslie Brinkley is standing by to go live. Bay Bridge by the portion that was severed. You're seeing a car that attempted to drive over this 50-foot gap in the Bay Bridge. It has been like a drama here. It has been dangling from the edge, the precipice behind me, and these folks are just getting rescued right now. It's been about an hour-long effort. It's been a frightening scene here. As you can see just below me is where this crack in the Bay Bridge occurred, a 50-foot section. You see down there below the two cars that were on the upper deck when the bridge collapsed. They fell below. We understand that the people in both of those cars did get out safely. We do not know the extent of injuries at this point. Down below us, where this fell down, there were people describing it as a garage door closing. And we don't know yet if there were any injuries or deaths down there. We do understand from eyewitnesses that there were one or two cars below that this portion of the bridge did fall on top of. You're looking across the bay right now. It's an eerie scene to be standing here by this big gap in the Bay Bridge. There were a lot of commuters standing down below here a short while ago. They have since left. They have been ferried back over to the city. The link between San Francisco and Oakland is not working right now. Back to you. Leslie Brinkley reporting live on the landmark damage on the Bay Bridge. Other roadways where we have reports of damage again, Highway 17 from the Summit to Highway 9. The CHP says there are rock slides. Stay out of that area. And also in 280 in San Jose, there are problems at Race and the Southwest Expressway. We have a couple of urgent bulletins. Basically, we need to get this message out to people who need to hear it. Dennis McHugh of Pacific Elevator Company says, would all elevator mechanics from Bay Area companies please report to their answering services or their company offices immediately? People are trapped in elevators all around the Bay Area because of widespread power failures that we've been telling you about. We'd like, again, to repeat that message. Would all elevator mechanics report to their answering services or their company offices immediately? People are trapped in elevators because of tower failures. To follow up again, San Jose Police has been asking that all off-duty officers please report to their stations. And in San Francisco, would San Francisco firefighters please report to the San Francisco Fire Training Center? Right now, to get another update, we go to Jim Vargas, who comes to us by phone. Jim?
Golden Gate Bridge Toll Plaza, where everything is very, very smooth, both north and southbound.
Live by cell phone, Golden Gate Bridge.
Engineers here, when the earthquake hit, they immediately went out onto the bridge, and they have determined that it is structurally sound. There was no delay, I am told, by the toll traffic is perhaps just a little heavier than usual heading into northbound into Marin County, but everything looks pretty good here, especially in comparison to what's happening in San Francisco and obviously the East Bay. I talked to Captain Jackson Swan. He said that there was obviously a rolling. They felt that one other person here who works on the bridge said it was the worst heat test felt since 1957, but everything on the Golden Gate Bridge is okay. I just came in from southern Marin County where electricity and telephone service were both lost. Electricity still hasn't been restored, but at least in Sausalito, telephone service has again been restored. From Sausalito, you can see plumes of black smoke both in the East Bay and in San Francisco. In fact, on Ridgeway Street in Sausalito, you can even see the flames coming from one of the fires in San Francisco, I believe to be in the marina.
Actually, Jim, while you're speaking to us by phone, we are looking at that video, and as darkness falls around the Bay Area, no doubt those fires will become more apparent to people as they try to get home or get to their loved ones. We're looking at the traffic jam now at the marina. This is a live picture.
Wow.
As you can see, there is a lot of damage out by where those boats are moored. All of that area, again, built on landfill. Of course, it is unstable, and during what could have been a 7.0 quake, a lot of that was undermined as you saw that fire blazing. One of the great dangers right now, they say, of course, is power and gas. If you smell gas, please remember to turn off your gas lines in your home. Right now, for another part of the transportation picture, we're going to go down to Lisa Stark, who's standing by at the San Mateo Bridge.
Anna, we are standing at the
Stark.
Foster City Boulevard overpass over Highway 92, leading to the west side of the San Mateo Bridge. As you can see, the bridge is entirely closed in both directions. We have been here for about 15 minutes. They are turning cars around up. They are not letting anyone on the bridge. A few motorists are parked off to the side, perhaps waiting in the hopes that the bridge will reopen. At this point, we don't know of any structural damage to the bridge. We're not sure if they're just shutting it down as a precaution. But the San Mateo Bridge in both directions is completely closed. We do understand the Dunbarton Bridge is open, so people may want to try that route. But I can tell you, we were on Highway 101. It is jammed, especially in the southbound direction. It is open, but it is jammed. And I would suggest if you don't have to go anywhere, if you can stay put, that is really what you should do, because the freeways are a mess. Here in the Foster City area, power is completely out. The police are at intersections. They are directing traffic. We can also tell you that we understand they are going to close the ramps from Highway 101 to Highway 92. We understand at this point that there has been damage there. I have not seen it, but apparently the connections from Highway 101 to Highway 92 have been damaged. You can see now we're showing you the police here at the intersections in Foster City trying to direct traffic.
What the heck?
Again, on the freeways, we suggest you stay off them if you can. The CHP units have been ordered to check all of the
Okay, well,
overpasses.
that's mean.
Certainly, as they are doing that, we may hear of more of the overpasses.
Okay, wherever that's supposed to mean. I don't.
Caution, they are shutting them down at this point. It appears that the airport
Parody of
is
people
operating at least partly. We have seen planes landing at SFO. We did hear an earlier report that
About a year ago, I did a parody of the Coca-Cola Bear. About a year ago. About a year ago, I did a parody of the Coca-Cola Bear. Except it was a panda bear, not a polar bear. I did that about a year ago. It was fun.
They have been going on and off for the last 15 minutes. Again,
I do a lot. I used to do cosplay. I mean, I do a lot of cosplay off and on, but
we have no idea when the bridge will reopen. Again, a fire engine. We don't know where they're going, but as we've been reporting, there are fires everywhere. We don't see any in this area at this time, but we'll keep you appraised if we do.
Oh, that's a Crown. Oh, that's an old Crown fire. Oh, that's an old Crown fire engine.
This is a very changing story, and I'm sure that you understand. The late reports are coming in as quickly as we can gather them. We're going to be bringing them to you.
It's a bunch of random stuff, guys, until...
Those of you who are just making your way to your home and tuning into Channel 7 News, preliminary estimates now say that the earthquake that rocked the Bay Area, Northern California, and was felt all the way down to Los Angeles may rate as high as a 7 on the Richter scale.
Or higher.
The Bay Bridge is closed at this time after drastic damage, which we've been reporting on. Crushed, it seems, 2 cars. We're not sure the number of people that were injured in that accident, but a 50-foot section of the bridge about a mile from the toll plaza collapsed. Right now, the Golden Gate Bridge is reported to be all right, but the 19th Street approach to the bridge is closed. Lisa just reporting from the San Mateo Bridge and reminding us that all of the overpasses over the freeways are going to be checked by the CHP for safety before they're cleared to traffic. Earlier today, people were gathering in Candlestick. There are tens of thousands of people expecting Game 3 of the World Series. But the commissioner of baseball came on the field shortly after everyone felt that jolt and asked everyone to go home. He canceled it. He made an announcement. He asked everyone to remain calm. Everyone felt it, of course. And he just asked everyone to go home and to, in an orderly fashion, make their way out to the parking lot. He said when he got up in front of the mic that he knew that this was just the first earthquake. Perhaps there could be another. They weren't sure whether structurally Candlestick was safe, and he wanted everyone to be out of the area by nightfall. Of course, you know that added pressure to all of the surrounding transportation infrastructure, and that's why all of the going is quite slow right now. For another update at the Earthquake Center, we go back to Willie Monroe.
Well, Anna, we've been checking in periodically with Tom McAvilly, professor of seismology at UC Berkeley here. As I mentioned earlier, he had said this is a 7.0 earthquake on the Richter scale. That's the strongest since 1952, when the Kern County earthquake was measured 7.2 on the Richter scale. The strongest earthquake on land we've had in California since then, bigger than Coalinga, which was 6.7 in 1983. However, the measurements at this time have to be preliminary.
Wow, whole wall missed.
Be assigned to this earthquake on the basis of a review of all the California seismology reporting stations, instruments that recorded what this earthquake was. So this could change, but at this point it is still 7.0. This earthquake was so large that the equipment, the magnitude is normally used. The equipment used to do this, to measure this, was not sufficient to give an accurate reading, and so it's not the best measure. It's designed for localized measurement of the earthquake far away from the epicenter. They tend to saturate at about 6.5 on the Richter scale. After that, the readings are really not as accurate. So that's why they're going to take a review of all of the seismology reporting stations in California to try to get some kind of accurate fix on it. He told me this is a low-frequency antenna earthquake. That means that it tends to start off with a very strong jolt and then sort of drift off. It's probably stronger in the lower frequencies, and therefore that's why there's that initial damage, and you felt the rumbling after that. Probably about a 30-kilometer break in the fault is what took place, either from close to the surface as much as 20 kilometers below the surface. Those two plates shifting on San Andreas Fault, separating by that much. What you would see on the ground, above ground, in the area of the epicenter, is probably as much as a 3-foot to 5-foot separation. They're going to go out and take a look at it and get an idea themselves of what else is going on. We can expect some aftershocks.
Hey.
We've already had some aftershocks.
I'm joking, and I had lunch dinner already. I left over. Actually, no, I haven't had lunch dinner yet. Maybe I'll pizza, I don't know.
But there's a very high probability of aftershocks as much as 5 on the Richter scale. Although as time goes on, it will be diminished.
Thanks very much, Willie. We are getting a couple of urgent bulletins, and I'm joined now by Don Sanchez, who will be continuing our report. We're going to be sort of rotating through and continuing our coverage and reports of damage in the area as we get them. Right now, we want to let you know that San Francisco International Airport is closed. The control tower, they are saying, is a disaster area. That is different than what we had heard a little bit earlier when Lisa saw planes coming and going. What we know now is that there is no air traffic. The airport is closed, and except for emergency crews, everyone is being evacuated because of extensive building damage. One more note. President Bush tonight was speaking to a group of Republican governors, and as he was emerging from that meeting, he was told of the earthquake in California. He came out very quickly and said the federal government is prepared to send any help necessary to help earthquake victims in the Bay Area, and Transportation Secretary Samuel Skinner is on his way to California now.
Okay, I need to talk about that, I guess. Okay, all right. Thank you. We will continue here. Oakland Airport, by the way, since we were talking of airports, has 2 operational runways. 2 are closed, and they are out trying to evaluate the damage to buildings there. So that is at Oakland Airport. In case you have just joined us, of course, by now you know the earthquake struck shortly after 5 o'clock today. Preliminary reports have it anywhere from 6.5 to 6.9 on the Richter scale. The epicenter, if I can show you with this map right here, the epicenter is in the Santa Cruz area. Whoops, pulling clicking the microphone here. South San Francisco in the Santa Cruz area, and it was on the San Andreas Fault. And according to one of the experts on this, what happened is that instead of the plates hitting as they would do, they slid back and forth, and that's what caused this earthquake, which looks like it is turning into indeed it is a major disaster in Northern California. Now, the Bay Bridge, of course, as you know, is closed at this time because of that 50-foot section. The bridge, about a mile from the toll plaza, has collapsed. In Sonoma County, there has been some minor structural damage, and there have been a few reported injuries, mainly to elderly. There are a number of retirement homes in Sonoma County, of course. Sonoma. The Golden Gate Bridge, as you heard.